What's up everyone, it's DSP. If you're seeing this video, more than likely you know what's going on. I used to have a channel on YouTube called DarkSydePhil, extremely popular, had over 76 million views, had this just about to hit 60,000 subscribers, and then YouTube shut me down.
You might have heard about multiple lolcows like Nikocado Avocado, Chris Chan, and Boogie2988 for their ridiculous clout farming takes. But if you don't know about DSP aka DarkSydePhil, you're seriously missing out on a lot.
Fucking enough. My life has been systematically fucked up year after year by people fucking with me. I can't get sponsorships. I can't get all the same opportunities every other full-time streamer gets because of you pieces of fucking shit trying to ruin my life.
DSP isn't your regular YouTube streamer. He's the ultimate mix of unbeatable delusion, self-worship syndrome.
Shut the fuck up. I'm not taking your shit. I don't care who the fuck it is. There's people in the chat right now. Oh, he's doing a meme. Oh, this is cringe. Shut the fuck up and eat it.
And rage baiting.
And I'm gonna ban every single dunce who says it too. Goodbye. Out of the chat. You're so dumb. There we go. You, and you.
And that's before we even get into his long history of racism, toxic outbursts, and relentless e-begging, each of which could fill an entire documentary on its own. Let's start with DSP's well-known habit of demeaning and insulting his fans. At least that's what they call themselves. But honestly, no sane person would watch his videos for the sake of watching something meaningful and dare to consider themselves as his fans.
I said right up front at the beginning of this stream, do not spoil WrestleMania for anyone. He just spoiled a major match on WrestleMania in the stream chat, so you're banned now. F you.
And if his treatment of fans wasn't bad enough, his own inflated ego only adds fuel to the fire. DSP's over-the-top delusion has kicked him out of reality and made him think that he is some kind of master in the video game space. But the reality is far from it, because DSP is nothing more than a wannabe gamer pretending to be a pro, and the moment his reality slips out, he melts down on both his fans and viewers.
Of course we got people in the stream chat being it's all on you, Phil. It's all on you. Blatantly you were killed. You didn't see it? No, I saw me attacking two zombies.
However, the truth is, DSP can't handle the slightest bit of criticism from his fans during a live stream.
Here's all the evidence of everything Phil's ever done wrong in his 15 plus years on the internet. That's not how it works. That's not fair. You're a bunch of bitches. Every one of you's a little coward. Really. You're all nobodies. The people who do that shit.
In fact, at one point he flipped the switch and locked his chat to subscribers only, all while throwing cheap shots at the very people who supported him.
I see everyone arguing with my girlfriend instead of talking about the game, and I've had enough. So we're gonna put it in sub-only mode, and now none of you can f***ing talk, since you can't act your age or act mature, and you all want to argue with my girlfriend. Now you can just have no chat. How about that?
Whenever he felt like it, he would spend hours and hours in long, toxic outbursts against his viewers, even throwing threats their way without a second thought.
So bad, it's so bad. So what's your better idea? Do an IRL stream so everyone can call the cops on you. Go f*** yourself.
And what triggered it all? Just his viewers daring to call him out for stuffing his videos with too much monetization. At one point, YouTuber Ardness made a meme out of Phil. It came from one of his infamous rage fits. In that clip, Phil went off about why he'd do bad things to his own audience.
A lot of idiots, of course. Oh my god, Phil should disable all ads on all videos where he ever mentions his friend. You know what? Shut the fuck up. Seriously, like that's what this is about, right? Because that's why I'm doing it.
But honestly, this wasn't some rare meltdown. It was just Phil being Phil. His aggressive rants and humiliating behavior are nothing new. They have been with him for quite a while, especially ever since he began his career on YouTube.
Guess what? Now there's no more arguments. No more. Dumb f***s. Now we can all concentrate on the game, which is what you should have been concentrating on to f***ing begin with. Immature assholes. Jesus.
DarkSydePhil, who was originally known as Philip Paul Burnell, was brought up in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Throughout his early years, Philip went to different private schools, and then eventually became a finance graduate. On paper, it looked like he'd become a working professional. In reality, though, Phil's true obsession was video games.
Hello everyone, DSP here. Bet you're probably shocked that we're finally meeting face to face, although you kind of look like my camera, which is a little odd. But anyway, just kind of wanted to throw this out there. I know that thousands of people have been freaking out. What does DSP look like? Why does he not show his face?
He was often spotted at arcades, glued to gaming machines like Street Fighter, Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda, and Mortal Kombat. But it wasn't just his gaming that people noticed. It was his strange, aggressive attitude towards every other person around him, and that same ego ended up following him everywhere.
DSP, stop recording. No one gets to play. You can't hold up a tournament. If the DSP to report this match is disqualified.
Where am I playing? You still haven't told me. Jesus Christ.
It even showed up during his competitive gaming days. He got his first official recognition when he participated in the EVO 2005 Championship Series for Street Fighter II Turbo. By some stroke of luck, he managed to land 4th place, right behind 3 Japanese players. For Philip, this was like climbing Mount Everest. He was over the moon, convinced he had proven himself as the best American Street Fighter player. But outside his little bubble, not everyone was impressed. In fact, plenty of people saw it for what it really was. Phil barely scraping by and riding an ego trip off a single performance. And that, too, for the right reasons. The version of Street Fighter used in EVO 2005 was highly problematic, to say the least. It had some inaccuracies and gameplay quirks, making it a bug-ridden flopped version, and perhaps an easy way to secure a winning place.
Third Strike, or Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, had several differences from the arcade version that a lot of people eventually forgot about because everyone just got used to the console versions and played that. But Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo by far had a bad run when it came to console versions.
For this reason, many top video game players boycotted the championship tournament. One top competitor, Alex Valle, had announced that he would attend the tournament. It wasn't because he wanted to prove himself, but to keep the undeserving players from receiving the winning titles. However, Alex had to cancel his plans last minute because of his personal commitments.
Were synonymous, the Mike Watsons, the Alex Valles, the John Choi's, none of them were the people who were really playing. It was other people who were playing and trying to basically learn the differences between PS1 Super Turbo and Arcade Super Turbo. So when we actually played in the tournament, we know what we were doing.
And when Phillips tried to soak up the glory from his 4th place finish, the critics weren't buying it. Instead of taking the feedback, Phil did what Phil does best. He snapped. He lashed out at anyone questioning him, bragging about his talent long after the event was over.
I mean, the whole internet beef with the whole ST thing, man. I mean, we've already talked about it. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, how about you let these people know the real Phil, the real reason for the hate. Let them know.
The real reason for the hate is because people just have massive disrespect. I mean, for years these same guys are on top, and yes, I'm talking about John Choi, I'm talking about Alex Valle, playing ST, placing, okay, they're good, but to disrespect the people that got top 8 at Evolution, to make excuses because it's on console, it's ridiculous.
Philip continued to participate in other tournaments for the next 2 years. However, he never managed to win any of the tournaments, which ultimately put him in his place. Philip's true skill level in gaming was starting to show. Skilled players began openly mocking his performance.
You got some idiot named DSP who's a total piece of shit, by the way. I like to get that on YouTube. But this guy thought he was hot shit because he beat me and Choi in a game that was like, it's like a Neo Geo conversion of Street Fighter or some crap, dude.
And this way, Philip officially backed off from participating in any other gaming tournaments. Instead, his focus shifted to something else. It was around the same time that he had turned towards YouTube as a way to display his gameplay to others. In 2007, many video game players began uploading their gaming videos on YouTube with their commentary in the background. They named these videos Let's Play. Philip was one of them. He launched his channel under the name DarkSydePhil. His videos were nothing fancy, just raw clips of him playing and talking over the gameplay. Although his skills were pretty unprofessional, his loud commentary and game choices drew in a decent following, but not everyone was impressed. Plenty of people were put off by his aggressive tone, unfiltered rants, and blunt attitude.
How do you like the beatdown, my friend? Yes, my friend. You will take the beatdown, my friend.
This is where he self-proclaimed the title of King of Hate. It was largely because he claimed that his trolls were often chasing him with hate and criticism, and for him, this was the perfect opportunity to use that hate to fuel himself. He posed himself as someone who takes all the hate and keeps going. Though in reality, Philip has a thin skin and is unable to accept that his own personality is the reason he gets so much hate. Though the real issue is his ability to perceive everything, including subtle constructive criticism, as a personal attack on his self-proclaimed superiority. If someone, even a fan, shared a suggestion on how to make his content better, he would lose it. He'd call them a jealous hater, or as he loves to say, a detractor. And in the worst case scenario, he would throw them on his block list.
They're so angry that they can't do that in their life, but I've been able to, that's become their vendetta. And you're absolutely right. It's so dumb. I'm a guy on the internet playing video games. That's what I've been since 2008. It's not like I changed overnight, but I was popular at one point, and all of a sudden I'm the guy that everyone likes to rag on. But why is it really? And that's what it is when I reached that peak of popularity, that was it. It was everyone turned on me because how dare this guy do things differently?
But that's hardly the worst part. Philip actually believed he deserved the same level of fame as PewDiePie, but the man flat out refused to improve his content. No editing, no effort, no creativity, just the same old raw clips. It's like he thought success was owed to him just for showing up. The level of delusion here is unreal, like he had zero self-awareness about why people weren't sticking around.
Understand that this is going to be some of my fans, okay? I fully understand that. You need to understand if you did that, you are an idiot, okay? You are actually dumb. And I don't know how else to plainly say it. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm trying to actually explain to you how stupid you are so that you'll realize it. Right up front, when I started with Assassin's Creed 3 in the first video, the first thing I said was, we didn't plan on this.
At the time, Philip worked at a helicopter support company, but he lost that job, which he blames on downsizing or restructuring. After that, he turned to YouTube full-time. He began uploading all kinds of game videos every single day. His channel pulled in tens of thousands of views, which was a big deal back then. But instead of improving his content, Philip chose to spam his channel. He wouldn't post one polished 30-minute video. Instead, he would chop it into a dozen 10-minute clips. This would flood people's feeds. For him, it was always about quantity over quality. And if it were a fighting game playthrough, the clips would be even shorter, just 3 to 5 minutes long. That only depended on whether Philip managed to make it to the third round. Instead of editing the matches together into one proper video, he would upload every single match separately. The goal was clear: make money, not good content. Viewers had to sit through every pointless moment, like when Philip died in the game or had to backtrack. He didn't care that his audience was suffering through all of it.
God damn it.
But the real kicker is still to come. Most of Philip's playthroughs were blind runs. This meant that he had absolutely no clue what he was doing in the game, yet he kept recording anyway. He didn't bother to learn the mechanics, the story, or at the very least the basics. He just jumped in, pressed buttons, and posted it all online, all for the sake of becoming the first YouTuber to upload a playthrough of a newly released game. Philip had a very unusual approach to YouTube. He would upload dozens of videos every single day. Because of this, his videos started getting hundreds of thousands of views. The reason was simple. Whenever someone searched for a game on YouTube, multiple videos from Philip's channel would pop up. This pushed people directly onto his channel. That strategy became the main reason he quickly gained 6-digit subscribers. On the side, Philip also made extra money from his Teespring shop and Patreon account. Philip's earliest career moments weren't easy to say the least. Apart from detractors, Philip had one dreadful enemy: copyright. At the time, it was fairly easy for anyone to flag your content for copyright issues, even if there was no such thing. If your channel gets 3 different copyright strikes, your channel will be shut down immediately with no explanation, particularly the case with some newly released games. They would be followed closely, so the copyright holder could easily flag them. The same kind of deal happened with Philip in early 2010, and his gaming channel nearly came crashing down. Ubisoft saw that Philip had uploaded footage from their game Splinter Cell Conviction. They filed a complaint with YouTube, saying it violated copyright. YouTube didn't waste any time. They shut down his channel completely, afraid that Ubisoft might take serious action against them. Philip and his fans complained about it to Ubisoft, and that was when the truth came out. Ubisoft shared their statement on their forums, confirming that they never sent any complaint against DarkSydePhil. When YouTube did the verification process on the complainant, they discovered that the person behind it wasn't connected with Ubisoft in any way. Instead, it was a troll who created a fake account pretending to be Ubisoft management, hoping to get his channel down. As a result, Philip's channel was reinstated. But from that moment on, Philip became highly cautious. He didn't want to lose his only source of income and popularity, though it was mostly his detractors. He came up with 2 different options to avoid this issue altogether. First, he started giving his gaming videos the most random and irrelevant titles. For example, he once titled a LA Noire video, with guns for LA. Obviously, no one searching the game would ever find that. Other times, he would just make a whole new YouTube channel for every new game he played.
Yeah, it's already installed, too. Wow, that's sweet. It actually installed the pack for me. That's pretty cool.
During the same era, he created a YouTube channel named Red Dead DSP for Red Dead Redemption. At the time, Rockstar Games was infamous for issuing aggressive copyright claims over channels for using its games in walkthroughs and Let's Plays. As if that wasn't enough bad luck, Philip's Red Dead DSP channel eventually got hacked by random soccer livestreamers. Result: YouTube shut it down entirely. But that didn't stop Philip. He even launched another side channel, DSP Street Fighter, dedicated to fighting games.
What's up? It's DSP. Welcome to my new Street Fighter related channel. This channel is going to be for all things Street Fighter, whether it's game footage, whether it's instructional videos, whether it's tutorials on how to do things, whether it's, footage of a tournament that I'm at, tournament gameplay, something like that.
Since his channel was getting a lot of traction, he requested an AdSense account for his channel's monetization. Once he got approved, instead of playing by the rules, he went straight into breaking them. AdSense's biggest rule was simple: don't beg people to click ads. But Philip ignored that completely and constantly told his viewers to check out the ads in his videos so he could make money off them.
So, I just want to say thanks a lot to everyone. I hope to entertain you in the future. Please go to my partner channel, The King of Hate HD, and click on the ads that show up on the videos there, because hopefully, fingers crossed, that actually starts giving me some money back for what I'm doing. I mean, it's not cheap to do what I'm doing. I bought a lot of games, a lot of equipment, and now I have my own condo, which is basically my studio, to do whatever the hell I want. So, anything that you can give back is much appreciated.
And it didn't take long for YouTube to notice this thing in his videos. His account was soon suspended from AdSense, which means he could never monetize his videos or earn from them. His only source of income had been snatched. With no job in hand and financial assets, Philip faced a serious financial crisis at the time.
Everyone's saying, well, Phil, we all know that this past weekend, your Google AdSense accounts got shut down, and therefore, we're not looking to do anything anymore on Google with participation. But why can't you just make another partner account? And the answer is you can't. I mean, sure, I could make a new channel, I could make all this new stuff, but the bottom line is this: you need a legal name and address.
Desperate for a way out, he thought he had found himself a clever escape route. He turned toward another platform called blip.tv. Here he could also be saved from the copyright strikes and could earn from his playthroughs.
As you know, the past couple days I've been putting videos up on blip.tv. In just a couple days of using blip.tv, not only has blip.tv gone out of their way and contacted me. Now, I didn't solicit this. They actually saw that I put my videos up there. Someone recognized who I was, went to YouTube, saw my videos about me moving some content to blip.tv, was happy about it, and actually, number one, upgraded my account for free, automatically, and now I'm a pro user who can now upload HD movies to blip.tv if I so choose.
But of course, Philip being Philip, he couldn't keep it together. Eventually, blip.tv's banned him too, and not because of copyright this time, but because of his own mouth. His excessive racism against different groups of people finally caught up with him.
In China, they say, rashness brings success to few.
In China, they say, Chiggy Chang, Wang, Charlie Chan, Chicka Chaka Choka Cha. Shut the f up. I don't care what they say in China.
And people in the comments section couldn't help but call him out. It's one thing to be stereotypical like Game does. It's another to actually be racist and call her Chinky Chan like Phil just did. This already got him fired once from blip.tv and nearly got him in deep debt when he called a Sikh guy a Muslim, and he still keeps doing it.
I just moved to another state. Any advice? Well, Mariah, what ethnicity are you? That's the question. Why do I need to know that?
Unfortunately, it wasn't the only time that he had shown his racist side to the world. He has been openly bragging about racism since the beginning of his channel.
I speak their language. Let me to America.
In one of his playthroughs, Philip ironically claimed that he hated real racism, while justifying that his racist jokes were okay.
Very bad.
It's very bad.
One of the girls who work here.
One of the girls.
She has been gone for days.
Her name is
I feel
Ning Ling Jidibing.
It pisses me off and disturbs me because I hate racism. I really hate real racism.
Philip even managed to hit rock bottom by humiliating someone who was just trying to play a game with him. Honestly, it's not shocking because Philip consistently managed to outdo himself in the worst ways possible.
This is my last game for the set, and I have some stuff to do, so... What fucking kind of gibberish is that? Where are you from, Yemen?
There are hundreds of clips showing Philip aggressively bragging about his racist behavior online. He did this without any fear or concern for anyone's feelings. Of course, we can't show every single clip, but trust us, the pile is endless.
Video games at one point were synonymous with Nintendo, and I'm sorry, but Nintendo fanboys are the most hardcore fanboys on the planet Earth. They will defend Nintendo no matter what wrongs they do, right? They will defend Nintendo.
Philip's general target of racism is Asian, and most commonly people from China. But he also doesn't spare African American people from his deranged mentality.
I still can't steal from this vending machine.
and the viewers under his videos lashed out at Philip for his hateful and insane attitude. But Philip doesn't really care what others think. This is disgusting. The fact that you find this even the slightest bit funny is not only detestable, but it's also a show of your immaturity, due to the fact that to you, if you don't find this funny, you're racially sensitive and don't have a sense of humor. That's simply bullshit. I've never been subscribed to you, and because of this, I will never subscribe to you. Thanks for sharing your humor with everyone. Now grow some f***ing respect. DSP sounds like high school all over again. Racist, idiotic, loud, annoying. As a Chinese man, I've never wanted to kick someone in the balls so hard before this video. And then he had the audacity to claim that he had never been a racist in his whole life.
Particularly hate about me, whether I said that I hated Minecraft years ago or I made a supposedly racist comment even though I've never done anything racist in my entire life.
But instead of owning up to it, he pulled one of the most ridiculous moves ever. He made a video explaining why he's allowed to make racist jokes, but if people mock him for his gout, suddenly that's crossing the line. The hypocrisy is so loud it's almost funny. Almost. And it wasn't just Blip.tv that had enough of Philip, Twitch did too. He didn't just get banned once or twice. It happened over and over again. Clearly, platforms are catching on to the kind of person he really is.
So I guess they didn't ban me from Twitch, but apparently I'm being kicked out of the partnership program with no explanation. That's what it looks like.
By now, throwing hate at Philip doesn't even feel wrong. It feels completely justified. He goes out of his way to say and do things that piss people off. Instead of being embarrassed, he seems to love it. Every time people stack up reasons for why DSP is so hateful, Philip doesn't take it as criticism. He takes it as free publicity on because it gives him more clout and exposure. After getting banned from Blip.tv, Philip was once again stuck in the loop of financial strain. But this time he had no other way to cope with the strain, so he had no option other than to wait. In early 2011, Philip received an offer from Machinima, a video entertainment network, to partner with them and to earn money from his gameplay videos. With Machinima placing ads under their brand, just like AdSense, Philip's income started to rise quickly.
I was partnered with a company, an MCN, one of these big partnership networks on YouTube called Machinima. And I partnered with Machinima way back when, in early 2011. This was at a time when very few YouTubers were monetizing gameplay videos. In fact, at that time, it was a very tumultuous time where the gaming videos on YouTube were very popular.
His income had begun flourishing to the point that he decided to extend his presence further on YouTube. In 2010, he launched a new channel named DSP Gaming. There, he would upload his game playthroughs and post livestream archives.
For 6 years, and it's funny because when I partnered with Machinima back in 2011, they were actually known as one of the major heavy-hitting partnership companies on YouTube. They were one of those pioneering companies that allowed gamers for the first time to put advertisements on their video gameplay and make money doing it. So they were huge.
His rising fame boosted his visibility and confidence on YouTube. Naturally, this also brought out his hostile side in gameplay. During online competitions, Philip would often lash at his opponents in the game, adding another item to the list of why a DSP is so hateful.
No, he's a button pusher. He only knows how to do lag pattern.
Is he still located in Seatown?
Otherwise, so once I neutralized that and didn't let him cut in, he couldn't do anything.
Whenever he played a game against someone online, his behavior followed the same pattern. Win or lose, he couldn't resist berating his opponents. If he won, he would flaunt what many called his empty talent. But if he lost, the rage would take over. He'd lash out and accuse his opponent of using some secret trick that supposedly explained their victory.
What happened? I couldn't block. Dude, I couldn't. Are you kidding me? Can't block level 3 super because of the lag.
Yet despite claiming to be a professional player, his behavior tells a different story. Philip developed an insane habit of constantly rage quitting, not only when he loses, but even when things aren't going his way, or when his viewer count doesn't rise like he wants. Philip has rage quitted over 100 games for different reasons, but mostly because of his failures at winning them, blaming the poor, design, control, and enemy tactics. There is, however, one more reason. In one instance, he didn't want to give his detractors another set of videos to make their "This is how you don't play" series.
The last year, how many games did I rage quit? I literally did second wind and the game said, "Oh, you."
This intense online persona didn't stop at gaming. In 2011, Philip expanded his presence by creating a separate YouTube channel named The King of Hate HD, which he used for content other than game playthroughs. On the channel, he would post a number of things, including series like DSP Tries It, Ask the King, Project 7, Personal Rants, and Poorly Cooking with the King.
What's up, everyone? It's DSP, and today I'm trying something totally different. It's called food reviews.
DSP Tries It was one of the most notable series on his vlog channel. In this series, he posted reviews on junk food and other unhealthy items like different flavors of Mountain Dew. His food reviews were so annoying that viewers had to listen to his loud chewing. On top of that, they had to put up with his unnecessary comments about the food. The very first episode of DSP Tries, it came in October 2010, when Philip reviewed Burger King's ciabatta sandwich. Since this was during the period he still had his AdSense account, he was making decent money just by sitting in front of a camera and eating fast food.
The hash browns have an odd kind of a seasoning to them. They actually taste different than other hash browns that I've had. Let me have one more.
Another one of his side projects was Poorly Cooking with the King. While this series did gain attention, it wasn't always for the right reasons. Viewers often criticized Philip for his careless handling of food, questionable hygiene, and his off-putting tone. Unlike his other projects, this one didn't last long. It ran for only 9 episodes. The first episode showed him attempting to make a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich.
I'm going to whip up a couple of express mode bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches, which include 6 pieces of white bread, bacon, obviously, this is hardwood smoked bacon, eggs, these are jumbo-sized white eggs.
And in the same first episode, Philip messed up big time. After cooking bacon in the fry pan, he discarded the leftover burning hot oil in his toilet.
The most common thing that people do, I'm going to be honest with you, they either pour it down their kitchen sink, which is a bad move because the kitchen sink clogs all the time, or the other thing that I see people do, which I'm going to do because unfortunately there's nothing else I could do with this, this is going to go down the pooper. So, yeah.
The viewers under the video shared their opinions. One of them commented, "Barefoot. Walks into bathroom to pour grease down toilet, walks back into kitchen, drops bread on floor with bathroom foot residue, eats floor bread." His other series, Project 7, featured his 2 friends, John Rambo and Howard. This series leaned heavily on action, comedy, and gaming parodies. While some viewers found it a little cringeworthy, many considered it a decent start. It was made on the suggestions given by Machinima and Philip's fans, and he really wanted to pull something out of the ordinary for his audience. Philip also reportedly put a lot of effort into those videos, which of course turned out good for his channel. Honestly, this was one of the best positive things that's happened to Philip's career down the road.
Man, I can't believe I'm still playing this shitty game after all of this time.
That's right, DSP. I've trapped you here, and you'll be playing that shitty game forever.
This series was short-lived as well, but it was shorter than Poorly Cooking with the King. It had only 4 episodes, although Philip had shown trailers teasing more episodes, but those episodes never made it to the platform.
No time? Took you 2 damn years to get here, and now we're out of time. John, pull the rope!
What'd you get me into here?
Rambo, what are you doing up there? Pull us out!
What do I pay you for? Oh crap, I gotta go.
The reason behind Project 7's abrupt end didn't come to light until 2015. It was when Philip's former friends John Rambo and Howard released a 1.5-hour expose about how the series had really been made. The video was so critical that it had turned Philip into a laughingstock. It quickly became a PR nightmare for him, and he had to get it removed.
When I get upset, how do I manage my emotions? Well, what I do is I immediately just start lashing out at everything and everyone around me. For example, during the Scorn stream, when I was so upset about the fact that the game was degrading into a pile of dog, and I had liked it so much at the beginning, and then on top of that, I had a slow contributions night, I immediately turned and lashed out at my viewer.
And here's the irony. The expose never would have existed if Philip hadn't poked at his former friends in the first place. When fans began asking if he had cut ties with John and Howard, Philip responded with smug confidence, claiming that real men don't hesitate in talking out their issues. He framed the fallout as their jealousy, painting himself as the victim.
You and John Rambo, did you have a falling out? Is it because you 2 were far away? I'd like to hear your thoughts on the matter. Thank you. The bottom line is this. anything actually happened behind the scenes with John or Howard or whatever happened with the people back in Connecticut, right, who I used to do stuff with all the time, it's 100% on their end, and it was never actually brought to my attention at all. He doesn't ever write me. He doesn't call me. He doesn't text me. Nothing. And I did try actively to contact him and talk to him over the course of the year, and basically I heard nothing whatsoever from John Rambo at all since then.
He would often make several passive-aggressive comments about them in his vlogs. He would also imply that both John and Howard were ungrateful and unreliable, something that his fans saw as manipulative and deflective.
Some idiot in stream chat says, you know, you can't just say something's not true, you have to present evidence when everyone's been right about everything in the past. When everyone's been right about everything in the past, really? Let's just go through all the list of the insane, stupid that they say about me on a daily basis that's completely wrong. You're an idiot. Just because you believe it doesn't make it true.
But what John and Howard told the viewers completely blew off Philip's cover, reducing him to a sore spot. Project 7's backbone, editing, and storyboarding were managed by Philip's childhood friends, Andre and Paul, who also had a YouTube channel, respect the pact of their own. The most interesting part is that Andre and Paul came up with this Project 7 idea. They only shortlisted Philip to be part of it. This was because he wanted to try new content, and maybe because he was a face many people wanted to see on screen.
Started to fall apart, and what was basically happening was these guys were working 50, 60 hours a week on getting this edited to try to pump it out with these unrealistic timelines. So naturally what's going to happen is people are just going to get burnt out, which ended up happening. Couple that with the fact, and again, we don't want to talk too much about it, but couple that with the fact with money. You know, these guys are putting all this time and effort into it, and what do they get? Gugats. That's what they got.
At first, it seemed to them that Philip was coming from a genuine place, but it was never like that. Philip had always lied to everyone on the set of Project 7, disregarding everyone's personal struggles. The editing work was, of course, quite time-consuming and demanded effort, especially given that Andre was about to become a dad at the time. John suggested that Philip should compensate Andre and Paul for their hard work. Philip, in response, said he had already offered them money, but both of them rejected his offer. This was the worst lie that he told him, and it caught up with him soon enough. John asked Paul and Andre if Philip had offered them compensation. It turned out he hadn't. Philip only wanted to keep the earnings from Project 7 to himself, exploiting his friends.
They feel like they're not getting anything back. And they're not getting credit, they're not getting, monetized things, nothing, okay? Something happened. Andre had basically a big life-changing thing. He's having a kid. Okay? Andre's gonna have a kid. So they basically say, look, we can't do this anymore. We can't do the Project 7 anymore. It's just not it's not worth our time, man. We got other stuff we got to do. So I had a conversation, like Howard said, I had a conversation with Phil. I said, listen, you have to make it worth their while, man. Throw them money. And I'm not saying throw them like thousands of dollars.
And that money didn't really go to any better cause either. Philip freely drained funds on nonsense. He spent thousands of dollars on expensive gamer collectibles, man-baby toys, Panasonic VR HD TV, and even a BMW, all while his friends paid for everyone during the production from their pockets. Philip never compensated any of them for their efforts or any money that they had invested in the series. But things get crazier. When the fans complimented someone other than Philip, he would make a comeback. For example, when the viewers praised John's performance in Project 7 and called it better than Philip's, he immediately took all the credit. He claimed that the script and direction were from his side.
John Rambo, because I have no clue, and I have no control over it. He doesn't talk to me anymore. He won't even respond. If I text him or call him, I don't get anything back. So from my situation, from my perspective, it's not even a relationship anymore. It's over, and it's 100% on him because I had nothing to do with it.
Unfortunately, that wasn't true. When John confronted Philip about his lies, he apologized to him. However, John could see that Philip never meant it. Throughout their entire friendship, Philip had this recurring behavioral pattern. He would lie or mess up, only apologize once he was caught, and then repeat the behavior all over again. Eventually, John and Howard reached their breaking point. After years of putting up with Philip's poor attitude and constant mistreatment, they realized he would never change or treat them with the same respect they had given him. That was when they finally cut ties with him for good.
Why he's even texting. And it's not even coherent. So you start wondering if the guy was, like, if he's been drinking and texting.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's really weird. So basically I called John up, and John, you know, John goes, yeah, he's texting me. It's really weird, and he keeps texting me, and I'm not responding back, and, you know, and like, when he texts, like, he's sending these messages, like, he does feel sorry on one end, but and then he says something that, like, later that contradicts it completely.
Then in 2020, Philip finally made a comeback video addressing the fans' questions about Project 7's fallout. He claimed that he couldn't pay any of his friends because the revenue from Project 7 was already dropping, while the probability of it being true is less. Even if it were true, he could have been upfront with his friends back then. Instead, he kept them in the dark for nearly a decade. By now, you've probably assumed what DSP is really like. Whether it's with his friends or his fans, the pattern remains the same. And true to form, his other moments follow the same pattern. During 2011 and 2012, Philip launched what he called a giveaway session for his viewers. In the videos, he advertised and showed game-related items like collector's editions, autographed boxes, and rare merchandise.
And welcome to the Hardcore Gaming Season giveaway of 2013. Alright, the very first item I'm giving away is Deus Ex Human Revolution's Collector's Edition content. So let me show you what exactly that is. Okay, this is Deus Ex Human Revolution Collector's Edition. Comes with this very nifty collector's box.
But in reality, it was an illusion created by DSP, and his fans fell for it. In one of the many giveaways, Philip sent out empty game boxes to his fans with no game-related items. When confronted about this, Philip shamelessly doubled down. He argued that since the boxes were autographed by him, they already held enough value. And because the giveaways were completely free, his fans should simply be grateful for whatever they got.
Also, I answered a question at length about whether or not back in the day, I actually used to give out empty boxes as rewards for contests. I am just learning of you from documentaries. So many questions. Please explain empty game boxes as prizes. Yes.
Around the same time, another major chapter in DSP's life began. Philip began taking an interest in one of the female gamers named Leanna Hangen, aka Panda Lee, in the YouTube gaming space. She was introduced to him through an online gaming session, and it didn't take long for them to start dating.
Welcome to the Week 3 drawing and the Week 2 announcement of the winner for the Hardcore Gaming Season giveaway of 2013.
And if it is it's your fault.
It's my fault.
She soon moved in with Philip in Washington in May 2014, and just like that, Leanna became his full-time girlfriend. At first, the relationship blossomed and everything looked good, but it was soon revealed to Philip's audience that Leanna was no better than an opportunist. Leanna was a die-hard fan of The Sims, the game she would play all day long without getting bothered.
What's going on? And then Sunday, unfortunately, all of our furniture, it's not unfortunately, fortunately, all of our furniture is being delivered, so a big chunk of Sunday, I'm going to be busy. So really, full-time streaming, if all goes according to plan, will begin on Monday. However, on Monday, our car is being delivered.
But the worst thing about their relationship altogether was baffling. It was their age gap. Leanna was 18 at the time, while Philip was 29, which is a staggering 11 years difference. This made his audience question the intentions of Philip and if he was Philip and Leanna had a father-daughter-like relationship on screen, perhaps due to their ridiculous age gap.
Okay, so due to Leanna's hard work today downstairs, the living room went from a huge mess of bins to this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our entire Blu-ray collection, alphabetized from start to finish.
The viewers had noticed that there was barely any affection between the couple in the videos, especially in the family vlogs. The ironic twist was that the couple would be spending their time at places where a parent would take their child, such as a zoo. Philip's viewers also noticed that Leanna was way more obnoxious than Philip himself. His playthroughs were already annoying enough for the viewers, but with his girlfriend inside them, they became way worse. During the playthroughs, Leanna would constantly yap, whine, and at times get into arguments with Philip, all during the game. If that wasn't enough, Philip also let Leanna moderate his Twitch chat.
I can't afford anything.
My location
Except
also clear.
I can get the ugly shotgun.
Yeah, you can afford it.
It says everything's locked for me.
Yeah, but you see the XP on.
See if you can watch even a few seconds of this shit without cringing at that noise. They don't have any chemistry together whatsoever. It was the same time when his videos stopped attracting views and began experiencing a downward spiral. Many of his most loyal fans pointed out what they believed to be the root cause: his girlfriend's constant presence in the background. They felt her interruptions ruined the flow of his playthroughs, and some even urged Philip to keep her out of his content altogether.
What are you guys doing? God, it's like playing with a bunch of children.
Bro, look at this.
Umbrella, umbrella, umbrella.
Oh God, don't think, Phil.
Come on.
This playthrough was good until he started singing.
Umbrella, umbrella.
This is how we do it.
Repeat. All personnel are to evacuate immediately.
Oh, that's what she said.
That's when Philip's temper got the best of him, as usual. To him, it was unthinkable that anyone would dare question his skills or point out flaws in his videos. Although the feedback was fair, he refused to listen. Instead, he lashed out and called his own fans idiots for daring to say such things.
Some people were saying, we don't like Pandali or her commentary. Don't do these games. So let me get this straight. In a choice between having an Assassin's Creed 3 playthrough, having WWE 13 Attitude Era playthrough, with Pandali commentary and mine, or not ever doing the games ever, you would choose not ever doing the games ever. Well, guess what? You're a f***ing idiot if that's what you said. You sent me comments like that.
One moment that primarily stood out was when Philip blocked one of his earliest fans, Evilage of 2010, after he criticized Leanna's involvement and labeled her as part of DSP's downfall. At first, Evilage didn't retaliate. He simply moved on, but the situation escalated when DSP later boasted about his Metal Gear Solid 2 playthrough, claiming it had received overwhelming praise from his audience. Evilage 2010, in response, made a video named "This is how you don't play MSG2." This video was all about the comments posted by Philip's own fans, pointing out his mistakes and suggesting how he could do it better.
What? Oh, come on. You know what? This is f***ing mad annoying. I can tell the whole game's gonna be like this, too. Whatever.
And what started as a single video soon grew into something much larger. He went above and beyond, turning Metal Gear Solid 2 into a full series of This Is How You Don't Play. The format quickly spread to Philip's other playthroughs as well. Thousands of viewers watched many of them, likely detractors who enjoyed seeing his mistakes highlighted in such a brutal fashion. Soon enough, other creators began making similar How You Don't Play series on different games. They attracted the same amount of views, sometimes even more. The videos of How You Don't Play series would show Philip's terrible gameplay, awful commentary, racism, obnoxious burping, coupled with a continuous blame game. Philip wouldn't dare spare the game itself and the developers from his rage, all because of his failure and poor style of playing.
What? I was blocking. Didn't you see I was blocking?
Another thing people noticed about Philip's relationship with Leanna was how submissive he acted around her.
Oh, I got a 20-bit cheer for Leanna being in here. Woo! And my stream just completely crashed again.
Woo!
I don't know what's going on with my Twitch.
Viewers often pointed this out because it was the opposite of how rude and arrogant he usually behaved. It showed more clearly during his playthroughs with young women on screen. Philip would act awkwardly, almost like he was drooling over them. And for this reason, he didn't hold back from lashing out at his fans for berating Leanna. Instead of removing her from his playthroughs, he turned his chat to subs only. He shamefully claimed that the viewers were in the wrong, and not him or his girlfriend.
I guess people stalked my girlfriend's Twitter and made an inside joke about things being said on her Twitter that made no sense. I am super confused, and I have no idea why. That's hilarious because that just shows how and stupid the people are.
DSP also reportedly funded Leanna's soap or wax tart Etsy shop in 2015, which is now deleted. But that business never made any profit, and Leanna continued to live with him without doing anything to support him financially. But in November 2015, Leanna finally found a job at a local mall. This was likely after DSP pushed her to work because of his declining financial situation. His relationship took a turn in May 2017. During one of his live streams, Philip suddenly got a call from Leanna's workplace. She had suffered a panic attack and was taken to the hospital by paramedics. Philip quickly left and told his viewers that he had to attend a family emergency. Later, he uploaded a video explaining what had happened. But instead of focusing on Leanna's health, the video was mostly about him how the situation affected him. A YouTube creator, L Crimson King, made a mocking video about the whole thing.
So I go to the hospital, and I walk in to the front main area because I don't know where to go. I don't know if they brought her to emergency. I don't know if if she's going to be admitted to the hospital. I don't know what's going on, how serious this whole situation is. I have no idea, okay?
And just after a month, Philip announced that Leanna had broken up even before he visited the ER after her panic attack. He also claimed that she had moved out of his place. After their breakup, Leanna began staying low, completely away from the public's eyes. Her Twitter and Instagram pages were deleted. Her YouTube channel was also deleted in 2019, and she never made a new one. According to the detractors, Leanna was the kind of girlfriend who mostly thought about herself and how to improve her own life. She didn't really help Philip with house chores or support him in any meaningful way. Instead, she leaned on him completely, trying to live off whatever he provided. Some people on forums went as far as to call her a gold digger, saying she used Philip just to land a contract with Machinima. One could be forgiven for assuming that she originally tried to use Phil to gain popularity for her own gaming channel, which did actually receive a Machinima partnership. However, it was clear that she was just your standard gold digger who would leave Phil as soon as he can no longer support her. Until then, she remains Phil's.
But at this point, I am tapped. I really don't have any money left. My finances are flexed out. And, we're probably not going to be doing any kind of home improvements until, I'd probably say until Christmas, because we do need a Christmas tree.
Even Philip himself admitted that Leanna was only after his wealth, and once he experienced downfall, she left him.
Why? Because I'm with someone who actually loves me, right? This isn't someone who I met when I was at the height of my popularity. This wasn't someone who rode that wave of positivity, and then all of a sudden when things started to fall apart, realized this isn't what they wanted anymore. I've been there. Personally, I lived through it, all right? And I'm here to tell you, the woman who lives with me is the woman I want to be with for the rest of my life because she actually loves me.
Philip's blunt attitude had served him right, yet it did little to humble him. In the same era, Philip started having problems with his old gaming setup and wanted an upgrade. Some of his fans, who were supervised by a viewer named Overlord or PC Guy, offered to make him a custom gaming PC for $1,200. Philip agreed, sent the money, and the fans built and shipped him the new PC. At first, everything worked fine, but soon he began complaining about a lag and crashes. Instead of asking for help politely, he publicly trashed Overlord, accusing him of selling a lemon and making the PC unusable for gaming or streaming.
What's going on, everyone? I, as you can see, have received my new PC, and what I want to do is unbox it. So this is my new PC. This was built by Chris and Teo, who are the original creators of my website, thekingofhate.com. You know, from time to time there's a PC release that I might like to play. Like last year I played StarCraft 2.
The funny thing is, Philip had already approved the parts list before the PC was even built, so he knew exactly what was going into it. When the fans offered to help fix his PC, he straight up denied, and instead chose to whine and rant about it in his videos. He later spent around $3,000 on another PC, but soon reported the same performance issues and eventually abandoned it.
Last motherboard was very expensive, but it has a good chipset and everything in it. What's inside of this box? Holy sh**. I don't know what any of this is. Look at this. I don't know what this is.
And if it wasn't already controversial enough for him, Philip managed to land himself in one of his most infamous scandals. In 2016, he became the star of what's now remembered as his most humiliating moment. It happened during his so-called pre-stream segment before playing Uncharted 4. Philip forgot to turn off his webcam and ended up embarrassing himself. This incident further tarnished his name and channel, but this was only the beginning of his downfall. During the same year, Philip faced another setback. The contract on which his whole income was dependent had been terminated by Machinima.
Late 2012, it was around, I believe, November, mid-November, late 2012. I got a call, not an email, not a text, a call from Machinima, something very important, we need to talk, okay? Called them up. Sorry, Phil, I know we already canceled that bonus initiative from earlier this year that we mentioned. Now we have to renegotiate your contract for less money. And I was like, well, what the hell?
Philip or Machinima never explained why the contract ended, but anyone could tell that his channels were nosediving, views were shrinking, and the viral "This Is How You Don't Play" series from X-Fan Evil. AJ 2010 was shredding what little credibility he had left. On top of that, His constant racist outbursts and edgy rants probably made his content impossible for advertisers, and Machinima likely didn't want YouTube breathing down their necks.
Now, the reason I'm making this video is because after a 6-year partnership with Machinima, it was just about 1 month ago that I basically severed my ties with the company, and yeah, there was some little red tape I had to jump through there. I had to wait for the contracts that I had for my 2 YouTube channels, DSP Gaming and also KO Gaming.
After his removal from their network, Philip began ranting about how Machinima had fooled him and never given him any importance. He also accused them of not supporting or promoting him, basically ignoring the fact that his downfall was entirely his own doing. Philip shared other issues as well, like when he wanted perks like free games and travel expenses. He was left unheard. Machinima never bothered to respond to his requests clearly as they were supposed to.
In this video, and I know it's going to probably go long, I want to tell you about my experiences with Machinima over the years, alright? I can't disclose any specific contractual facts or figures. I can't tell you how much money I made with them or anything like that whatsoever. But I can speak in general terms, alright? I can't give you numbers, but I can tell you about maybe certain things they did over the years that kept me with them, weird things that happened behind the scenes with staffing.
However, the real collapse started when Philip's money problems kicked in. Since Machinima had been his only paycheck, losing it left him completely broke. This subtly began his begging sessions, mentioning to his fans that he was in serious trouble and wanted their help in paying his bills.
Because people like DSP Gaming, if you've never seen a DSP Gaming stream before, this guy is constantly begging for money. This guy's like, hey man, you know what, I gotta pay my bills, you know, I've got all these bills and I've got so much debt and blah 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 blah. And it's like, he makes it his fans' responsibility to pay his bills.
And of course, the fans eagerly threw their hard-earned cash at this clueless man-child. But did he use it wisely? Absolutely not. From 2017 to 2020, he blew cash left and right on pointless luxuries, making his fans furious.
How people have actually been giving him money, which I can't believe. Well, I can believe. I've had conversations with DSP fanboys, so. And his attitude to his fans, you know, how it is, despite the fact that they are giving him the money and he's reaching the targets.
The biggest slap in the face? He reportedly burned through more than $100,000 on a trash mobile game called WWE Champions. Fans who thought their donations were helping him survive quickly realized their money was just being thrown into a bottomless pit of virtual trading cards. This information was leaked in 2021 when a detractor shared Philip's bank statement mentioning the amount of dollars he had spent on a petty mobile gaming app. He was in the game under the name, "They Call Me DSP." Philip's addiction to WWE Champions wasn't just a rumor. He even showed up on the list of players actively competing in contests and pouring money into the game.
I currently jump between 4 mobile games when I play mobile games, okay? I play Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. I play Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. I play a Marvel video game called Marvel Future Fight. And I play a game called WWE Champions, which of all things, if you can believe it, is a WWE game that plays like Candy Crush.
His spending habits caught up with him big time. In January of 2020, Philip revealed to his audience that he was filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. He claimed he was drowning in thousands of dollars of debt and couldn't actually afford his bills anymore.
I owed the state over $5,000. I owed my tax attorney over $5,000. All of that money, that was phantom money that I didn't have, got charged to my credit cards and completely and utterly maxed out any remaining credit that I had.
But the cracks showed quickly. Detractors dug into his bankruptcy filings and found that Philip had flat out lied on them, especially the part where he claimed to have a pet, personal electronics, or collectibles. The most shocking move was Philip's audacity to cover up his large spending on the WWE Champions by labeling it as business expense. Kiwi Farms tore this wide open, exposing how ridiculous it really was. His expense list showed he had blown a massive $8,225 on WWE Champions, his single biggest bill, even beating out his mortgage. According to a user named Prince Lotor, Philip's bankruptcy wasn't just about debts piling up, it was also about the way he handled his properties. At the time, Philip owned 2 different condos, one in Washington and the other in Connecticut. Even though he only lived in the Washington condo, he kept the Connecticut one vacant. Instead of selling it or doing something useful with it, he kept paying the mortgage and HOA fees on both places. First thing was the move. Emptied his savings account, and then spent a ton more money on the move. Phil still has debt from the move, blaming the 2015 trolls for his debt because they destroyed his YouTube channel, Aunt was living at the CT condo for 2 years after the move and she died. Phil was charging her to live there, and so she stopped paying him because she died. His aunt dying was one of 2 major factors that caused him debt. Screw you, Aunt. He took out loans to pay off credit cards. The bank was clearing the bill and charging an overdraft fee. The bank stopped paying out the money and still charged overdraft fees. But this isn't everything that had pushed him into the darkness of bankruptcy. The same user had exposed him and his situation to further on this thread. Stopped paying CT mortgage when he got back from eloping. Called bank and said he wouldn't pay anymore because he couldn't. Had to pay $400 per month in housing association fees for CT condo. Bank wanted financial documents for 4 months, told Phil he didn't qualify for any assistance because it wasn't his primary residence. They told him to short sell the property. He tried to short sell the CT condo in 2017. He got a special government mortgage so he couldn't short sell. Phil called them stupid for telling him to short sell, but because he didn't qualify. Bank said they would take that into consideration and get back to him, and they stopped talking to him. September, the mortgage company sold the mortgage. New mortgage company specialized in buying bad mortgages, foreclosing, and suing for the rest. Phil confirms $100,000 lawsuit in value of CT condo. New mortgage holder wanted his financial documents to work with them. He said no. They said you probably qualify for nothing anyway. All his other debt, he's just been making minimum payments when he can. Creditors threatening to send him into collections. October fundraiser for $1,800 was for everyone in stream chat is morons. He never said foreclosure wasn't true. He dodged the questions. He literally never said foreclosure wasn't true. You won't find that clip. Not once did he ever say it wasn't happening. I guess there's no f***ing mods here today, so I have to ban everyone myself. What a bunch of idiots. Random babbling, vague references to looking into plans. Talked to lawyer. Lawyer said, no way out but bankruptcy. He can't pay down his debts. Saw a bankruptcy lawyer, told bankruptcy lawyer, the trolls ruined my income and that's why his income is inconsistent. Bankruptcy lawyer said trolls are crazy and obsessed and will find public bankruptcy filings because they are idiots. In August of 2020, his filing was approved, and the majority of his debts were cleared even when he openly lied on the filing. But wiping away debt didn't mean wiping away his bad habits. With nothing in his bank account and no source of income, Philip made a U-turn towards another option, Twitch. While he had been on Twitch on and off, he shifted to this platform permanently after severe financial struggles in late 2016.
If you're here to battle aliens in a dystopian version of Los Angeles, you probably will not enjoy this game, but welcome.
So there's the audience code for those who want to join in the audience. Join at the bottom down there, see it?
I told you it would.
Through the Twitch partnership, Philip earned from subscriptions, bits, and ads, which gave him some relief from his money issues. Things worked for almost 5 years until 2021, when Twitch suddenly ended its contracts without any reason. 2 weeks later, Philip finally got an email from Twitch saying he had broken their rules by making racist comments and showing no self-awareness.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, it says terms contained within. There's no attachment on this email. Like, there's nothing on the email at all that says, you know, oh, you know, this is the agreement and this is what you violated and you're being kicked out of the partnership program because of this. It's just a generic form letter email is all I got. Okay? It looks legit. It's from partnership removals at twitch.tv.
In a response video, Philip bluntly expressed his feelings about losing his partnership benefits, and as the viewers said, he didn't ask for an apology from Twitch. He demanded it.
We have all been speculating and we have all been wondering what the hell is the real truth of the matter of what happened behind the scenes at Twitch that I lost my Twitch partnership after being a streamer on Twitch for 8 years and never ever during that time frame having an issue with my Twitch partnership.
But this time he took a different route. He began what people call his begging phase, depending only on fans' donations. He supercharged his begging phase by threatening his fans that he would leave the platform altogether if they didn't help him through donations. Philip, without any shame, ranted about his situation and asked his followers they pay him through PayPal to support his live streams. He even had set a $200 goal for one live stream, and he would do 2 live streams in a day, aiming for $400 a day.
But that's a big change. That's, you know, you have to have a PayPal account. You have to try to make a verified PayPal account, right? And you're going to have to tip me through there. That's the only way. It's unless, again, if you become an ongoing pledgee to my Patreon, that's kind of the same as subbing, you see? But outside of that, there's no other way that I can get any kind of support here through Twitch. They've shut it off, right? So please understand that.
Some of his fans questioned his preference for getting donations through PayPal because PayPal had a policy to share the personal information of the donor with the recipient. For this reason, many fans were skeptical of this method. In response, Philip became aggressive and asked them to seek help. One of his fans sent him 25,000 bits, which is $250 US, but Philip banned that fan because they didn't use PayPal for donations. His attitude toward his own supporters kept getting worse, and many fans were fed up with his toxic behavior. Yet he still had the nerve to say that they had one last chance to donate if they wanted him to keep live streaming.
Major Ray, I really don't know what to tell you. If you're that, like if you're actually that paranoid and afraid of PayPal, you should probably seek help. I mean it. If you think that you putting your personal information into PayPal to send a tip to someone completely is going to give away all your personal information and basically ruin your life, I think you need help. I'm just being honest here. I'm just being very honest here.
Even now, Philip's main income comes from his fans' donations. His channel, DSP Gaming, has around 200,000 subscribers and more than 67,000 videos. But most of his content isn't considered valuable. Sadly for him, his views keep dropping, and on average, his videos only get about 400 to 500 views each. His estimated monthly earnings range between $300 and $600 on average, which means he isn't making enough from YouTube. And this is why his main income stream still comes from squeezing donations out of his fans, usually pushing for $50 to $150 a day. At this point, it is possible that he would continue to beg like this for the rest of his life, because his YouTube career seems to be neck deep in the controversial mud, and there's no way he's ever crawling back out.
Because there's nothing to follow up. He got completely destroyed. And now he does a $5 super chat and he says, heartbreaking. How are we ever going to hit the goal now? I'm sorry all your preparation for this didn't work out. No, it's heartbreaking that you sent me $10 to say 2 dumb things. I'm really heartbroken that you just sent me all that money. Thanks a lot.
Racism isn't something new to DSP, and if you already know deeply about this man, you might already be familiar with it. It wasn't once, it wasn't twice. There were multiple instances where DSP was seen being overly insensitive about a certain group of people. At first, it was only about African Americans. Then he moved toward other races, specifically the Mexican population. While playing Minecraft, DSP made a racist joke, presumably a dark joke about Minecraft people wearing sombreros. It was clear that he was talking about workers from Mexico.
La 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 la. Murder Mexicans, use your sombrero, murder them all.
Like many times before, he acted like it wasn't his fault at all. He shamelessly insisted he never said harsh words or left racist remarks. Instead of issuing an apology video, DSP would claim that his jokes were often taken out of context and that he wasn't a racist. In other words, he had a free pass to be funny, even if it came at the expense of humiliating people. But when it came to his own self, he couldn't take it. According to him, no one could make a joke about him, especially his gout, because it was natural and painful.
All the time, people make fun of people with disabilities. That's f***ed up. A sickness, a disability, things like that, that's ridiculous. Just like if you're going to insult someone personally because of their race, that's different than making a general joke about race, in my opinion, okay? Now, this is all me. You could completely disagree. That's fine if you do. But I'm just saying, you make a general joke about race, I think that's okay.
However, his own jokes crossed the line more than once. They eventually escalated to the point where he ended up getting banned from Twitch for using a hateful slur. He was suspended for good 7 days straight for that before his account was restored.
Ladies and gentlemen, DSP here. For the last month, we have all been speculating and we have all been wondering what the hell is the real truth of the matter of what happened behind the scenes at Twitch, that I lost my Twitch partnership after being a streamer on Twitch for 8 years and streaming there full time for almost 4.5 years, and never ever during that time frame having an issue with my Twitch partnership.
But this wasn't the only time he was suspended from Twitch. In March 2018, he was banned for 24 hours straight for doing fundraising on his live stream. He asked his viewers for bits, which was against Twitch policy, and resulted in his suspension.
The subs are going away permanently. Apparently, they kicked me out of the partnership program, and I don't know why.
And then, the next month in February, he was suspended once again, but this time, it was for a different reason. During one of his live streams, he had harassed and mocked another person. At first, he thought the suspension happened because he had joked about slapping a disrespectful kid during VR chat.
Now I'm away from that annoying of a kid who I would have slapped in real life if they talked to me like that. I would have pimp slapped that shit out of that.
However, when he reached out to the management, they claimed he had harassed someone, which was against the Twitch rules.
So I'm thinking, what in the holy hell could they have said I harassed someone on one of my streams recently? I was like completely dumbfounded by this.
This incident takes us back to the early 2000s, when DSP's controversial behavior wasn't limited to online platforms. As far back as 2002, he had already been confronted in person for his attitude. It is around the time when DSP first kicked off his career on YouTube. From the beginning, DSP, also known as Paul Philip Burnell, had a strange obsession with arcade games, and spent hours at arcades playing games like Street Fighter, Super Mario, and Mortal Kombat.
Now I fixate. Blanca. Is the red dot not blinking, or is it saying rack?
Welcome everyone to Bridgeport, Connecticut, home of Crown Fried Chicken.
However, it wasn't just his passion that made him stand out. He was also infamous for his aggressive and blunt attitude, especially his constant use of F-bombs, which he sometimes used to show his frustration and other times to be humorous. His rudeness even went so far that he insulted the professional players of the fighting game community. It was around 2002, and Evo tournaments were happening. DSP would go on the Shoryuken forum and bash the professional players, claiming that he could easily beat them in any game without even facing them. But soon the tables began turning. It was when DSP came face to face with Shady K, a player DSP actively resented. For the first time in a while, he had faced someone in person, and he ended up being embarrassed, losing the money match badly.
Shady K was one of them, and Shady K didn't like him too much because he would like run his mouth so much. I mean, this guy would make posts that were like a mile long or whatnot. So we had them play a money match, and I think it was like first to 10 for like $100, or it was first to 5. Yeah, I think it was like first to 10 for $100, and they played the first game, and it was on the big screen, and Shady K won the first game.
But it was just the beginning of his downfall. Shady K's friend Jaha, another top player, a bodybuilder and a former Marine, and an event organizer, Mike Watson, decided to confront DSP for his big talks. DSP also insulted and humiliated Mike on the same forums.
He was videotaping it, and I'm fucking getting up in his face, asking why the fuck he's talking shit, what the fuck is his problem, and he's fucking just, you know, just fucking cowering and all fucking scared, and him and his friends are trying to fucking leave, and we're not letting them, and then
both of them asked DSP why he was insulting them, and if he was really confident, he could participate in a personal money match with them. When the moment came, DSP's online bravado completely disappeared. During the face-off, DSP looked nervous, avoided eye contact, and couldn't say half the things he used to post behind a screen. It seemed that he was only confident on social media because when it came to talking in person, he was all cowardly. They also asked him to pay a part of whatever he owed them. DSP became more nervous than ever and handed them $10 to $20 before walking away.
You fucking lost one match, you're gonna pay him $10 or $20 because that's the percentage of the matches that he would have lost, which and you know, just scared him shitless until he you know, he paid the like $10 or whatever.
Soon after this, DSP stopped disrespecting all three competitors, but he didn't seem to have learned anything from that experience. Instead, his hatred and aggressiveness had shifted towards other competitors like Alex Valle, John Choi, Justin Wong, and Viscant. Viscant was just another competitor in the fighting game tournaments, and he had had enough of DSP's shit talks about him. It was around 2005 or 2006 when Viscant finally called DSP out. He asked him to have some guts and have a money match with him. He already knew that DSP would wimp out, and he was right. Instead of doing that match, DSP suggested that they should do a physical fight. He even went as far as getting Viscant to sign a paper that said he won't be responsible if he is killed. Seriously? That's messed up. But here's where it all gets next level hilarious. When DSP found out that Viscant was all serious about this MMA fight, he shook up and backed out. He came up with a new idea instead and offered DSP to only pretend to fight with him by doing DX crotch chops to the crowd. That was the final straw for Viscant. He turned him down, and this messed up scene was wrapped up. What's funny is that Viscant had actually helped DSP before. Back in EVO 2002 when Jaha and Mike Watson almost beat DSP up, Viscant stepped in to stop them. At that time, DSP was even staying at Viscant's place, and there was no bad blood between them. EVO 2005 was no less embarrassing for DSP. While he had somehow secured 4th place in the entire Street Fighter Turbo 2 tournament, it also became a humbling experience for him. Many top players believed and speculated widely that the game used in the tournament was full of bugs. It made it fairly easy for the players to win the game, and thus DSP felt proud of himself. After the tournament, DSP gave an interview about how he had played professionally, resulting in his victory. However, in reality, it was all gameplay bugs that helped him out, and DSP wasn't ready to hear it.
The real reason for the hate is because people just have massive disrespect. I mean, for years, these same guys are on top. And yes, I'm talking about John Choi, I'm talking about Alex Valle. Playing ST, placing, okay, they're good. But to disrespect the people that got top 8 at Evolution, to make excuses because it's on console, it's ridiculous. And it's unacceptable. For Valle to say that just because he didn't enter the tournament is the reason that the top 8 got top 8, that's bullshit.
Then during the 2010 EVO panel, Mike Watson dragged DSP in the mud because of how he had been continuously bragging about placing 4th in EVO 2005 tournaments. Mike Watson ended up calling DSP an idiot and a piece of shit for acting like he was some champion.
Some idiot named DSP who's a total piece of shit, by the way. I like to get that on YouTube, but this guy thought he was hot shit because he beat me and Choi in a game that was like, it's like a Neo Geo conversion of Street Fighter or some crap, dude.
After that tournament, DSP was over the moon with his delusion spiraling out of control. He believed he was too good and above everyone else. But whenever he lost, he always blamed something else. The game, the lag, or bad luck. Years later, DSP's delusion got a reality check, but even that couldn't make him any better. He got into 2009 competition, Street Fighter 4, to show what he called his superiority. However, things didn't go his way. While he was able to win the first few rounds, he couldn't go past them and lost. In fact, he couldn't even make it to the top 32 winners list. His loss was a huge contrast to his victory in EVO 2005. This loss was a wake-up call and humbled him a bit. None of his matches were aired or shared anywhere on social media, and that's where he started to earn hate and criticism. He gained a lot of haters, or detractors as he called them. They were a group of people who thought DSP was the worst person to ever exist on YouTube or might be on Earth, all because of his deranged mentality and attitude.
So here I am, worked my ass off for 18 years, pumping out videos. They used to get millions of views. Now the old videos don't even show up in the search anymore. And now all my old content is immediately stolen by detractors and uploaded before I can even get my shit uploaded. So I don't even get views on my own original content because they steal it immediately.
But there was one more thing that stood out during this 2009 tournament. A YouTube channel named GamerNook posted a video with the title, I Love You Joe, Sagat vs Tony B, Balrog, East Coast Throwdown Street Fighter 4. In the video, it could be heard that an announcer was asking DSP to stop recording another duo's match and report to his match station to compete. However, DSP brushed it off as nothing. The announcer later told him that if he didn't report to his station, he would be disqualified from the tournament. In response, DSP yelled at the announcer, claiming that no one told him where to play or where his station was. This was just another incident that made him infamous for his disrespectful behavior.
DSP, stop recording. No one gets to play. You can't hold up a tournament. Hey, for DSP to report this match is disqualified.
Where am I playing? You still haven't told me. Jesus Christ.
And he was no different online on his own YouTube channels, beginning from his first channel named DarkSydePhil, where he would post videos of his playthroughs, vlogs, and commentaries. Even in those videos, DSP didn't hold back from showing his ill behavior.
Oh, you see, but 4 years ago, Phil said this about Trump, and Phil said this about this, and let's see him flip-flop and change his opinions. You are nuts. No, really, you're obsessed, you're nuts, you're in the head, you're a bunch of fucking no-life losers, limp bitch. You're trying to stalk down words that I said and you're going to take anything out of context or anything to try to get a gotcha moment off. Because now things are different. Now you are irrelevant.
But there was one thing that made his channel stand out. Not in a good way. It was his strange pattern of uploading videos. Instead of posting one long video, he split every playthrough into short 10 to 15 minute clips and uploaded them all at once. A single 2-hour playthrough could turn into 8 to 12 videos in a row. Sometimes he uploaded up to 40 or 50 videos in a single day on his channel. YouTube eventually caught on and flagged his account for spam, temporarily suspending his channel. It was a reality check. His own upload habits had backfired on him.
And of course, if you've been following the channel today, you obviously know exactly what's going on. The DarkSydePhil main YouTube channel has been suspended yet again. To make it formal, what their actual wording was is that they said, this is your third copyright infringement strike yet again. Your account has been terminated.
What made it worse was his refusal to edit anything. He uploaded his recordings as they were, with no cuts or improvements, almost as if he had something against editing. This pattern and the constant use of the same video titles and thumbnails led to a penalty from YouTube, which ultimately reduced his channel's visibility. Due to this, he came up with a different YouTube channel in 2010, which went by the name DSP Gaming. He used this channel for the same purpose, uploading a bunch of chopped videos in a single day.
I decided to make 2 new channels based off of this. This is DSP Gaming. This is the channel where you're going to see game-related footage that's not Street Fighter.
In the playthroughs, he would often loudly insult the characters and use slurs, or even humiliate his fans or opponents online. One day, when he was recording a Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions playthrough, he got into an argument with his neighbor. His loud commentary annoyed his neighbor to the point that he yelled at him to be quiet. DSP stayed silent for at least 1 minute and then yelled, "Shut the freak up," and laughed.
Take a load off.
Shut up.
I'm closing in on him. I can feel it. If I know Vulture, he'll go.
But hold on, DSP isn't only about being violent and aggressive. He is equally terrible when it comes to managing friendships, even with his childhood buddies. We are talking about his friendship with Rambo and Howard and how it collapsed because of DSP's egocentrism. Rambo and Howard had been supportive of DSP during his earliest years on YouTube. It wouldn't be wrong to say they were the backbone of DSP's multiple YouTube series, including Project 7, co-op commentary, and other gameplay series. They would record, act, and edit out videos for DSP for free, while DSP took all the credit.
Oh, I should have my mother.
So what are we doing here, John?
Is he actually going to...
Making my acting debut.
Just going to establish what he's
Going to be sitting up. You guys are sitting up over here. Marcus is shooting me.
And then Deathface projects.
We're shooting. Shooting what?
Okay.
Shooting the debut episode of Charles in Charge, the musical.
Charles
starring
in
DarkSydePhil.
charge.
But this wasn't everything that happened between them. In 2015, Rambo and Howard released a 2-hour-long podcast in which they talked about their time during Project 7 in detail. They accused DSP of exploiting them financially, meaning DSP never once paid them for their hard work, even from the revenue generated from the videos.
There is no reason to even address anything about money publicly on a YouTube video.
Yeah, and this is done way before there was any kind of before there was major problems. Just something that's thrown out like, "Oh, look, I'm a great guy. I'm giving him half the money."
Yeah.
It's not exactly the truth. Okay, so.
On the other hand, DSP also treated them more like employees instead of like his close friends. He never checked in on them, even when one of them was going through a family tragedy. His shameless behavior knew no bounds. He quietly moved to Washington without even letting any of them know. If his treatment of friends was not enough to show his immaturity, his next blunder surely did. During a playthrough of Star Wars, he accidentally spilled water on himself after opening a water bottle. Guess who he blamed? Of course, the water manufacturer company. He accused them of overfilling the bottle and soaking his clothes.
I just spilled water all over myself. God damn it. Ugh. I was taking a sip of a bottle of water. It was overfilled at the factory. So as soon as I tipped it towards my mouth, it just went all over my chest and my legs. I'm completely soaked.
That moment was only the beginning of a much bigger pattern, something that his fans now know all too well. DSP's ultimate and unstoppable rage quits. Whenever he felt like losing the game, he would blame the game mechanics or his fans and angrily exit the game. No questions asked.
I quit. That's it. I'm done. That's enough. No mas. I'm not gonna waste any more fucking time. This is so stupid. It's so fucking dumb. A game, a playable teaser that has no definitive direction of what the fuck you're supposed to do. This. Kojima, it was sitting there smoking a doob trying to make games. Learn what the fuck. People want a game that has structure, so they know what the fuck is going on, so they know how to progress, not waste hours in an empty house. What the fuck were you thinking, you idiot?
He once played a game called Kirby, and after losing it continuously for more than a few times, he burst out and rage quit it. He then went on to rant endlessly about how the game had bad mechanics and control. And since he couldn't win it, he claimed that it was a trash game that didn't deserve DSP's time and effort.
I can't, this is garbage. It's literally, dude, it's literally Dark Souls. And now that's it, instant death. I give up. Yes. I'm done. That's it for Kirby. I'm not playing Dark Souls when I'm playing Kirby. The f***ing game is full of shit.
And then there was another game to feel his wrath, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. He played it for a while, all between throwing the curse words and restarting the game again and again. When he had it enough, DSP switched to the baby mode. He did everything to try and win at least a single session, but failed badly. At last, he quit it with more anger and rage, stopped playing it altogether.
Okay, I like the game, but that final stage is bullshit. That final stage, I would have to sit here on a night stream for like 2 hours, grinding for lives in order to even have enough to try to do it. For what? What am I going to get as a reward for doing that stage? Nothing.
However, these were only two examples of DSP losing it over the game. He often struggled to play even the easiest games, but still believed he was amazing at them. The same thing happened when he played a new game, Silent Hill F, released on September 25th, 2025. At first, he was only a little annoyed, but soon he threw a full-on tantrum like a child, and as soon as two monsters emerged out of nowhere, DSP lost it and found himself to be the victim of bad game design. Even if it was DSP's own incompetence to play it right, he truly believed that the game was out to get him personally.
Okay. So that was terrible. I ran into the room, one enemy, I go to fight him, another one spawns next to me, and I'm stuck against the wall and can't get out. Terrible game design. It's just terrible.
And that wasn't even the worst part of this playthrough. When it came to solving the puzzle game, his patience evaporated quickly. He yelled at the screen, insulted the developers, and blamed everyone else but him because he was a professional game player. He claimed that the puzzle was so poorly designed, and the developers didn't seem to even understand English.
All this was outlined in red. I know, it doesn't matter though. Because look, there's 4 things outlined in red. There's only 3 medallions, so it doesn't matter what's outlined in red. It doesn't mean that that's the solution or anything. The game's designed poorly. All right, I better take these again. And even stupid, even worse, it doesn't tell you if you've got it right or wrong. It just assumes you're going to know all 3 perfectly without saying, oh, that was correct, or no, that's not where that one goes. Instead, it's just, oh, no, you're wrong.
At the end, he did what was expected of him. He declared that the Silent Hill F game was the worst survival horror game ever made, and that he was truly done with modern horror, when in reality, the only horrifying thing was his rage on the screen.
This actually might be the worst survival horror game I've ever played in my life. There's 12 possible solutions, and they all change.
If you think these are the things that make DSP a moron, think again. DSP isn't only aggressive and loudmouthed, he is also a narcissistic fool. He was once playing some sort of game which required him to place matching flags to their corresponding provinces, something as basic as a 3rd grade geography. Within seconds of going into the game, DSP panicked and shouted, "I don't know anything about Europe." After struggling with the game for a few more minutes, DSP ended it by saying, how would he know about Europe because he lived in North America?
A fair guess, but I'm afraid it's wrong. Try again.
I don't know anything about Europe.
No, I'm sorry, that is incorrect.
Oh my god. Well, Paris, I don't know what the Paris, oh, Italy, it's telling you. France, this is France.
Well, that doesn't make any sense because a kid as young as 5 would be able to understand this geography, but DSP couldn't because in Phil's world, geography apparently has regional difficulty settings. A true masterclass in public education failure, courtesy of DarkSydePhil. Clearly geography and maps weren't his thing, but neither were finances, as his next meltdown proved. It was November 2018, and DSP had turned to his favorite hobby, begging. He started a live stream, which was all about one thing. Give me more money because I'm not doing fine lately.
Like, every day I'm not here is a day I don't make money. And that's the problem, is like, I need funds to pay bills and to buy games, you know. It's not like I have the freedom or that luxury to just say, oh, today's just, I'm making so much money hand over fist.
In the live stream, he also made bold claims against someone named Tutankhamun, a user who had previously showered him with loads of tips and subs. He claimed that he was financially struggling because of Tutankhamun, because when his fans saw him giving DSP aid, they stopped giving him donations, which were a must for him to survive. But then he dropped a new bomb on his audience: his unpaid taxes, as if they were his fans' responsibility to take care of all his financial needs. Phil claimed that he needed $16,000 US by the end of April next year to pay his 2018 taxes, and as expected, his fans heard his begging cries, and they started throwing in funds for him, or maybe just one of them did. It is unclear whether that person was his fan or not, but this mysterious user by the name Emerald7 had really turned DSP's life around. This user gifted DSP 698 Tier 1 and 600 Tier 3 subs over the course of 5 days. At the time, streamer cuts for Tier 1 were 50%, and Tier 3 was 70%, which made him around $12,245. And once again, DSP casually took all the funds in, without questioning who the user was, whether he was even a fan or whatever. He just smiled and said thank you. He believed that the divine justice had blessed his bank account. Fans quickly told DSP that he had made money that could almost cover his tax emergency, but he brushed it off by saying, "I don't really know how much I get per sub." Seriously, this was coming from a man who had explained Twitch payouts in detail. Now, if you think this man used that money to fix his tax emergency, it would be a shame because you're wrong. He chose to use those funds to postpone his impending financial downfall until after marrying the love of his life, Kat. Yes, you heard that right, and it shouldn't come as a surprise to you. But before talking about Kat, we first need to dive deep into his previous love interest, Panda Lee, originally known as Leanna Hangen. DSP and Leanna, they remained together for 5 years between 2012 and 2017. Leanna also had a YouTube gaming channel named Panda Lee Games. The thing that stood out most about this relationship was the huge age difference between him and Leanna. She was 18 when she began dating DSP, who was 30 at the time. This also got DSP's detractors talking and criticizing him, making the situation controversial. During their initial years of the relationship, they seemed to have a strong, deep bond, which soon cracked, and they broke up. Soon after, another woman entered DSP's life, Kat, a fan fangirl of his. Her real name is Catherine St. Jean, and her saga started with a lot of speculation at Kiwi Farms. DSP kept his fans and haters in the dark for so long that they had no choice but to keep guessing about who his new girlfriend was. People on Kiwi Farms even made a separate thread to discuss the woman in detail, but they never got to know about Kat. DSP finally revealed Kat in June 2018 in a special live stream titled Phil and Kat's Special IRL Stream. He said he had kept her identity secret to protect her from online haters who might harass her. After that, Kat appeared in a few of his videos, but not regularly. She was seen occasionally in vlogs, playthroughs, and reviews.
Alright, what's going on, everyone? Good evening. Welcome everyone to the stream. And I have some information to update here as we begin. Surprise, surprise, so you guys weren't expecting this. But Kat was actually sitting next to me the whole time.
Yep.
She was here the whole time. She heard everything you guys said. Every little dirty thing you said, she heard. So now you're all in trouble.
But there was much more to this relationship than just secrecy and love, something that could make fans question both DSP's and Kat's intentions. During the same year, DSP made a comment in his stream about having a brand new car parked at his house. But the real twist came when it was revealed that the car actually belonged to Kat's ex-boyfriend. A user named Bill Furnell on Twitter dug deeper into it and found that Kat and DSP had a vehicle, a Subaru, registered in their names. Things took an unexpected turn when a man claiming to be the ex-boyfriend of Kat came forward. He revealed that the car everyone thought belonged to Kat or even DSP was actually his. These details were revealed when a YouTuber named Tevin got in touch with Kat's ex-boyfriend, who shared some jaw-dropping secrets.
She was indeed committed to a relationship with the guy. Not sure what specific information someone would like to know. He has money, because I remember from him and her talking, he does financial things on the side. I have no idea what that could mean or what that could be, or if he just heard something wrong.
According to him, Kat had been cheating on him with DSP. He said that they had been together for only a month when he came to know that Kat was involved with DSP as well. It all happened in the early 2018, while Kat was already making plans to move in with DSP. Interestingly, DSP started taking random, mysterious vacations around the same time, trips that fans later discovered lined up perfectly with Kat's visits. When DSP started mentioning her in his videos, he told the audience that Kat was in really bad shape. She was going through a tough time, her lease was ending, and she had no place to crash. Kat eventually moved into DSP's house, and when she did, she brought almost nothing with her, not even a change of clothes. DSP claimed he had to buy her everything new, and her ex-boyfriend turned out to be right about her as he called her, an insecure, jealous, and financially dependent woman who would do anything for money. He also revealed more details about the car that both Kat and DSP had claimed ownership of. The YouTuber Tevin shared screenshots of his conversation with the ex-boyfriend, where they discussed Kat and her relationship with DSP. I saw Phil message her on her phone in front of me, and I confronted her. Not a problem. What Phil is doing to the community is terrible. She as a person is very odd. She had a lot of issues with self-confidence. When she didn't want to be involved in something, she would always look pissy and act pissy. She had the jealous behavior, so rarely did she ever come out shopping or out to do anything knowing her for 4 years. She had a lot of psychological issues. She fed off my income knowing I make a good amount of money. Not sure any women can beat my immense love for tacos. Even after all that, DSP married Kat secretly in 2019. He told his audience that his parents were elderly, and one of them even had their foot in the grave. Therefore, he and Kat had to visit them. Following this, DSP announced on his Instagram that he had a parental gout marriage and had actually been engaged with Kat since Christmas 2018. But what shocked fans most was that he spent his wedding night ranting about his detractors instead of spending time with Kat. Once the word got out about DSP hiding his engagement with Kat and later spending the donated money on his wedding, many of his moderators quit, leaving him isolated. You know, even if you come out Sunday and lie again and say your parents paid for the wedding and trip, that begs the question as to why they couldn't pay for your taxes. You'll find out on Sunday, but it won't matter, because the rest of the brainless, you've already decided to not believe me. Phil had already spent his subscribers' money on his wedding, which meant he still couldn't escape the heavy burden of unpaid taxes. With that on his mind, he had arranged 2 fundraisers to gather more money, and his mother also paid him $4,000 to get started with the payment plan. Still, it seemed like DSP could never stop asking for donations. Begging had become his only way to survive.
I have to raise a bunch of money by the end of this month. Why? Because in order to get my taxes done this year, I'm being told I have to pay up front, which I've never had to do before. In the entire time I've been a content creator, I've always had my taxes done and then I paid them after. I'm being told because I filed for bankruptcy, I need to pay my taxes up front.
However, there was a lot more going on with DSP's life than just money issues. Even though he had somehow gotten married to Kat, the fans believed it might not have been his best decision. Kat used to be in DSP's videos and live streams on and off, but all of a sudden she completely stopped appearing in his videos. This sudden absence made people wonder what was going on. Had they broken up? Were they divorced? Only DSP knew the truth. Whenever DSP did live streams, he talked awkwardly about his situation and used phrases like, "I am all alone," "I am on my own," "It's just me," and "I am not talking about my personal life anymore." In one of his March 2025 live streams, he even admitted that he didn't know what was for dinner, which sounded odd to many viewers.
What's for dinner? I don't know. I don't know what's for dinner today.
His viewers kept asking about Kat in the chat, but DSP continued to brush off the questions as if he didn't see them there in the first place. But when he couldn't take any longer, he decided to respond to the rumors. In a live stream of September 2025, DSP finally answered the much-awaited questions. He insisted that Kat and he were still together and they hadn't divorced.
Right? These idiots have been saying now for what, weeks? Months? That my wife left me or I divorced my wife or something. She's literally downstairs in the living room right now. I could go get her and walk her into this room.
He also claimed that she was sitting downstairs at the time, and he could bring her upstairs in front of the audience to prove it, but of course, he never did. Instead, he gave an excuse, saying that viewers often insult her and leave hateful comments, which is why he didn't want to show her on stream.
I could go get her and walk her into this room. And here's what would happen. That narrative would end, and then immediately all they would do is look at her and start saying stuff about her looks, start saying fucked up stuff about what she says if she walks in here. That's all they want. They're just always looking for more and more and more ammo. So you don't give them any.
However, both fans and detractors found his explanation unconvincing. Especially since he failed to show the proof that they were still together. Many believed they had parted ways. In fact, the comment sections of detractor channels discussing this stream were filled with people saying the same thing, that their relationship was clearly over. "She left, not showing proof is what he does when he can't disprove reality." Another wrote, "Homie is divorced, I know this. I had similar vibes when I got divorced 12 years ago. All this workout, I'm a manly man now. I wear t-shirts to look younger, a high energy, and then angry out of nowhere. Trust me, this guy is divorced, and this is his midlife divorce crisis. He will be depressed in about 2 weeks, and then he will probably start hitting on a new girl." Whatever the truth may be, most of the viewers believe DSP and Kat have likely separated, and while his personal life fell apart, his online reputation wasn't doing any better either. DSP has had awful interactions with other YouTubers and streamers like Slow Beef, Total Biscuit, Retsapure, Northern Lion, Daspushit, and the most famous Kino Casino, a satirical stream hosted by 2 YouTubers, Andy Worski and PPP. All of this drama didn't just happen out of nowhere. DSP's own behavior had invited it.
Wait a minute, I'm not a complete narcissistic gay lunatic.
Well,
Gay.
no, you
Well,
actually
you are
are.
gay.
You are a narcissistic lunatic.
Gay and a
Phil,
lunatic,
and you're
yes.
gay! He's a narcissistic gay lunatic!
His insulting behavior, demeaning fans and opponents, yelling at others, and begging had everyone dragging him through the mud. Let's first talk about his time with Kino Casino, a saga that truly stands out in the history of lolcows. The story begins when DSP was at his lowest point in his life. He had become a running joke in the streamer community, mocked by almost everyone, and so he thought, why not join hands with Kino Casino, a comedy stream which openly roasts internet personalities using the term felted, a slang for humiliated. Interestingly, Kino Casino had been mocking Tech Review USA, a YouTube channel that roasted DSP, but they never mentioned or roasted DSP himself.
He had to do was just not delete the channel.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
Just sit there, turtle up in his parents' basement bunker for the winter, ride it out, and then come back and post on his channel. That's all he had to do, but he just buckled, as he says.
With his hat.
He buckled, move. Buddy, there's no way this motherfucker is moving in silence with how heavily he breathes.
DSP realized that someone who was really against his enemy wouldn't turn out on him. Without giving a second thought, he quickly reached out to them, and to his surprise, they welcomed him warmly, and then out of nowhere, they began showering him with compliments. DSP, who had been on the receiving end of mockery and humiliation, was introduced to something out of the ordinary. Both of the hosts of Kino Casino laughed with DSP's jokes, gave him validation, called him king, and nodded in agreement with whatever he said online.
A promo! Yes. I'm gonna tell ya about Rich from Review Tech USA. Tell us, King.
Oh, how long ago was this?
This was like a year or two.
Kino Casino also invited DSP to join the stream and mock the new documentary of Tech Review USA, roast DSP's old videos, and hang out with old friends. This is exactly when the detractors went crazy. They couldn't see DSP getting all the recognition and compliments after what he had been doing online.
That's great. You did an echo
He
effect.
lost some more chips there, I think. But he
Stop
stream
getting high.
flooded. intoxicant.
He got a burn. He got an echo
I
burn
love how
effect on it. That was great.
He's highlighting this.
They did everything in their power to threaten Kino Casino, doxing its viewers and even trying to intimidate the staff. But despite the chaos, Kino Casino didn't back down. They stood by DSP and publicly defended him, calling out the haters for their obsession. Then came the time when 3 of them sat together to mock Tech Review USA in detail. DSP jumped right in, throwing insults and jokes that had everyone laughing, including the hosts and viewers. Kino Casino couldn't stop praising him for his amazing sense of humor. But of course, every high has its low, and DSP was yet to realize that. He was so invested in the fame and recognition that he had earned after years of humiliation.
I honestly don't.
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't want your money. He's just gonna ask for your money.
A twist. I'm going to put you in a series of saw-like traps to save your life if you don't pay me for this camera. He sounds like a supervillain or something. What's he talking about?
What do I need? I need a camcorder for the show, straight up.
Even the Tech Review USA warned DSP that it was all an illusion, which would break soon enough. But DSP brushed it off, and it happened. Behind the screens, the tension kept building quietly, and the friendship started to wear off. Their bond had broken to the point where Kino Casino started to mock DSP and his wife during their streams.
The problem is, most of the time, 99% of the time, Phil is boring as sad to say, but Phil, it's not cutting the mustard, bro.
Phil showed his hatred by crossing out P's face in a photo, ending the collaboration then and there. The Kino Casino, in response, called DSP a begging bum and admitted that they had been hating on him behind his back. From that point on, they turned into the worst detractors of DSP, and they showed it by dissecting DSP's personal life online for entertainment.
Bum!
Do you know
He's
how hard?
an ungrateful beggar bum!
Do you know how hard it was for me to hold it in? Every time he's in chat, hey! And I thought we were being obvious. Eh?
Yeah!
I thought we were being, like, as obvious as possible.
No, I mean, we were, like, literally trying to get rid of him.
But that wasn't the end of DSP's downfall. Another YouTuber, Slow Beef, joined in on the mockery. He went a step ahead by mimicking DSP's voice and style to ridicule him. He humorously named DSP DarkSydePhil and made multiple videos of him. One of them was on how poorly Phil played the game Demon's Souls. The video began with Slow Beef mimicking Phil and cursing the controller buttons as he couldn't differentiate between start and select and ended up pressing the wrong buttons. At one point, he shut down the game entirely and said he would launch his own game and play it offline because he didn't know how modern gaming worked.
Hello, I can't even read the f***ing green text in the chat. Look at this shit. It's ridiculous. I f***ing hate it. It's crazy. Alright. And Sony puts the start button, like, right next to the select button, but then you have to, like, look down, and then the demo starts again if you don't do anything. This is f***ing ridiculous.
His other video titled Emergency 911, DarkSydePhil Needs Your Bits and Help. This video was all about him posing as Phil begging for donations because he was financially struggling and had some expenses that needed fans' aid.
They let us go into a room and, oh my god, I'm getting off track though. I'm gonna lose all my money. Forget her, I don't give a f about her. But you gotta help me with money, okay? I am so poor that I made the cup here. It'll only fill if you give $1 million to me. That's about what I would need.
Another one of Slow Beef's videos stood out too. How DSP blamed Slow Beef after ruining his channel himself. In this video, he pushed things to the next level, showing how Phil's downfall was all self-inflicted.
In about February of 2013, I made a video called Colonel, I Didn't Manage to Avoid Drowning with another guy named Chip Cheesem years back. And Phil has contended, falsely, that this has led to people making videos called This Is How You Don't Play, and these all have sort of led to a decline in his viewership and subscribers and revenue. It's completely false.
The way he exposed DSP's hypocrisy and failure had the detractor community roaring with laughter. Slow Beef didn't just mock DSP, he completely outdid everyone else who tried. But there's another creator who still stands a chance, and could be named after Slow Beef. It is Retspuri, a creator who made DSP seem wickedly funny, and had us in stitches with his parody videos about Phil. One of his funniest videos on YouTube, titled A Day in the Life of DarkSydePhil, radio edit, is an absolute classic. In the video, he ought to show how Phil is always frustrated at each thing in his life, yet doesn't know anything as basic as opening his car's door using a key fob.
Thanks, Dial. How do I do this? I'm not getting clean.
What the f***?
What does it say? 4 words? I can't read 4 words. No.
He continues to live through his day, all while cursing at everything, dropping F-bombs, and laughing hysterically at nothing.
Wait, what? What? How am I supposed to play video games? What am I supposed to do here? This is bullshit. Oh, God. Oh, great. Yeah, I'm just supposed to know to do that. Yeah.
The video blew up, getting over 148,000 views, and thousands of comments from people praising Ritsupure's perfect imitation. His voice, timing, and expressions were so close to DSP's that many said it felt like watching the real Phil himself. And then we take a look at another famous streamer and YouTuber, Northern Lion. He once joined a live stream where DSP was playing a game, and that one encounter turned out to be such a disaster that Northern Lion later admitted it was one of his worst streaming experiences ever. He mocked DSP by saying that he thought he was some super smart guy who had been playing a game stuck in an infinite loop. However, it was all of his stupidity, ignorance, and inability to understand how a game works.
I watched someone streaming Gods Will Be Watching today.
I've heard of that game.
I'm not going to mention who it was, but many people will probably know. But I got really frustrated because the guy thought he was super smart, and he's like, "Look, I caught this stupid game in an infinite loop."
Northern Lion also admitted that he somehow sat through half an hour of that painful live stream.
He's just like doing the same thing over and over, and it's working a little bit, but then one of the hostages like got up and tried to escape, and he was just like, "Oh, this is bullshit! This game, did I get a bug or something?" And I was like, "Oh man, I can't watch this anymore."
And then how can we forget the main man, DarkSydePhil, the streamer who went out of his way to bring something new for detractors. He produced a hilarious animated series featuring Phil and how he navigates his day.
Oh, more like my punishment. You know what would be great right now? If you did what I asked you to!
One of his most popular videos was YouTube Avenue, Episode 1, Unboxing. In it, Phil is seen playing games with an oven sitting on top of his computer, heating up a hamburger while he plays. Later in the video, he unboxes what he thinks is an Xbox, only to find fast food inside. Instead of realizing that the package had no Xbox, Phil starts complaining that he didn't know stabbing the box with a knife would ruin it. Classic DSP logic.
Today we're unboxing the Xbox One. Let's get started. Wow.
Another video titled Episode 2 Editing shows exactly what happens when Phil is told to edit his videos. Pure comedy gold. His reaction says it all. He'd rather do anything but put effort into his content. DarkSydePhil went on to make several more episodes, each one showing a new side of Phil's laziness and insanity.
Just do some editing!
Wait, you just said a bad. Why did you just say a bad?
Now, Phil, I know what's been said before, but maybe just this once we could...
Last but definitely not least, Total Biscuit, aka John Bain, or Cynical Brit. This creator was just another man in the streamers community, but in Phil's eyes, he was a die-hard detractor. In one of his playthroughs, he openly mocked Phil for being loud, aggressive, and extra during his own videos. He claimed that he wanted to keep his video calmer and peaceful, avoiding anything that could make him look like Phil.
And it's why I try and make this stream as chill as possible. Because who the f wants to listen to somebody raging, right? It's like, that's the DarkSydePhil style of doing things. Blame everybody that isn't you, and people watch to watch you rage. Like, do you want to be the f***ing court jester? No, you don't.
Sadly, John Bain was battling bowel cancer at the time, and he eventually lost his life to it, but his work, his humor, and his professional legacy continue to inspire creators. Around the same time, DSP made one of the biggest mistakes of his career. He started doing streams solely to share his political views, a move that cost him more than anything. For the first time, he wasn't just embarrassed by a few critics. His entire chat turned against him. The stream took place 2 weeks after the US elections. Phil thought it was the perfect moment to share his views. He acted as if he knew everything about politics, but it quickly became clear that he didn't.
So here's the text message that apparently people across this country, the United States of America, have been receiving since the election ended, okay?
In the stream, he discussed a news report involving a racist text message about cotton picking and the FBI investigating it. He claimed that it was offensive and disrespectful, but wasn't illegal, and it didn't show any proof that it was sent to only African American people.
The other thing, all right, is this message itself is admitted in this news story. It's outright admitted there's nothing illegal about this message. Now, you could say this message is very offensive. It's insincere. Or not insincere. It's inconsiderate. It's actually targeting a group. It's trying to be insulting. Absolutely, all of that stuff that is true, but it's not illegal.
Then he switched the topic to himself. He started ranting about how he had been harassed during his 16 years of making videos, and complained that the FBI never investigated his bullies. Viewers began to get annoyed because he refused to call the text message a hate crime. When someone pointed it out, he lost his temper. Another viewer accused him of white-splaining, and that made DSP even angrier. He yelled back, calling them racist instead.
Everything that I just said had to do with my race. It had nothing to do with common sense or intelligence or coming from a perspective of someone who's been through insane amounts of harassment, just like that, only far worse. It's about me being white, right? So if I were black, it would have been different, correct? That's what you're saying? So who's the racist then? Because if I say it and I'm white, it's one thing, but if I was black and I said it, it would be something else. That means that you're a racist. So congratulations on proving your racism here tonight on DS Politics.
The whole situation turned into a mess and added to his long list of controversies. Meanwhile, detractors had long been making fun of his gaming style through the popular This Is How You Don't Play series. This series was produced by a detractor named Evil AJ, solely focused on how poorly DSP played video games while blaming the game mechanics. Each video lasted 1 to 2 hours, filled with short clips of DSP's gameplay and funny comments added by viewers. These comments made the videos even funnier and showed how rude, careless, and unaware DSP could be during his streams.
Rather than wander around aimlessly for 500 parts, so I'm sure everyone in the stream chat's telling me what to do, so let me take a look. Alright, everyone in the stream chat is saying to Codec Otakon, call Otakon. Yes, because I'm supposed to know that, right? Randomly call someone. Yes. For no reason.
However, what most people don't know is that Evil AJ wasn't always against him. He actually used to be one of DSP's fans, until things took a strange turn between them. All of a sudden, he turned into one of DSP's hardcore detractors. But how did that happen? Well, it happened during DSP's relationship with Leanna. At the time, she used to sit next to DSP in his playthroughs and constantly disrupted DSP's commentary by pointing out certain things and showing her dislike.
I can get the ugly shotgun.
Yeah, you can afford some. Press X. I did that.
It says everything's locked for me.
Yeah, but you see the XP on the top right? That's how much XP you have in,
Yeah, I don't have enough for, like, anything, apparently.
This drove many fans mad, and they asked DSP to remove her as she was doing no good in his videos. One of them was Evil AJ. Instead of taking it calmly, DSP reacted harshly. He mocked Evil AJ in public and blocked him from his chat. That was the breaking point. Not long after that, Evil AJ joined forces with DSP's detractors and officially became one of them.
You're a idiot. If that's what you said, you sent me comments like that, and anyone who even took their time out to leave a negative comment or a thumbs down on the videos where she did commentary to say, I don't like her commentary, you are an idiot. You actually are. I understand that this is going to be some of my fans, okay? I fully understand that. You need to understand if you did that, you are an idiot, okay? You are actually dumb.
But his detractors didn't only make harmless videos about him, but went a step further. During one of his recent live streams, his content was massively flagged for 18+ by a bunch of detractors. No one really knows if the stream had anything inappropriate in it, but YouTube clearly noticed the reports and took action.
What I gotta do, here's what happened, okay? Trolls have been trying to mass flag my streams for 100 years. They have, right? It's always been going on. And so what happens is, they try a million different methods to get the stream shut down. And today it looks like what they did is they mass flagged the stream, claiming, get this,
DSP complained that this had been happening to him for years, and that YouTube kept believing the false reports. However, this time it was more serious. If YouTube kept flagging his content, DSP could lose his super chat and ad revenue. A dream come true for his detractors. And this wasn't the first time DSP had faced something like this. He in fact encountered a much bigger trouble with his channel in 2018. Once again, DSP blamed his detractors for the trouble. He held an emergency live stream and claimed that he had been struggling financially for months, especially mentioning his unpaid taxes, the same taxes he had previously collected donations for.
I will be back on Twitch on Sunday. All right, I'm about to now go into the segment where I'm going to explain to you my schedule and then what you can do to help, because this is a terrible time for this to happen to me right now, guys. You know, I've been talking, every single day about my current tax situation, all the crap going on. This is a horrendous time for this to be happening to me, real talk. So I'm going to let you know in a moment what's going on with that. All right, so
At the time, his income mainly came from Twitch streams and YouTube ad revenue. His main income was generated through Twitch, but he also made money from YouTube.
You know what I mean? Like, I brought in maybe 25% more income on Twitch than I did on YouTube, okay? But I still have a giant chunk of my income was YouTube ad revenue.
His first partnership with any entertainment network was with Machinima. However, after losing the contract with it, he connected with another one, Curse. Unfortunately, he couldn't hold on to that one either. Things once again fell apart, and he lost the partnership. After losing the deal, DSP explained that he planned to run his own ads using his AdSense account connected to the DSP gaming channel, but when he tried to link it to his YouTube, things went downhill fast. YouTube flagged his channel for invalid click activity, and declared it not valid for monetization, and he was stuck in a bankrupt loop, not knowing how to get out and earn financial aid.
I go to the channel, and it says, DSP Gaming has been, is not valid for monetization because of invalid click activity. Now, wait a minute. 5 minutes ago, I was with Curse Network, and ads were enabled on the channel. So it's obvious that's not the case. There is no invalid click activity whatsoever. What I think happened is that the channel was linked to an invalid AdSense account. And allow me to explain the situation because it's very confusing.
He warned his audience that he could once again beg for donations in the future if he couldn't solve his problem. But this was only one example where he somehow showed a valid reason for e-begging, because he already collected thousands of dollars in donations for his unpaid 2018 taxes, including a massive contribution from a fan named Emerald7, and still had those taxes unsettled. A few years later, in 2021, he was back in trouble again. He was stripped of his source of income on Twitch after losing his partnership, which was through subscriptions and ad revenue. According to him, Twitch never mentioned the reason he lost his partnership. But since he had lost his source of income, he quickly turned to his last resort, begging from his fans.
Me streaming, I'm kicked out of the Twitch Partner Program. Inexplicably. There was no explanation at all. It was just an email I received from Partnership Removals saying notice of indefinite suspension and termination for DarkSydePhil, saying that my partnership is indefinitely suspended and terminated. Period. It doesn't say what I did for that to happen. It doesn't explain anything.
There was one catch, though. Every fan was obliged to pay through only PayPal, otherwise he wouldn't accept their donation. One viewer even sent him 25,000 bits, and he dared to ban them right there. And that wasn't everything he did. He also warned his fans that he would leave Twitch entirely if his fans didn't support him financially. For someone already infamous for begging online, this move was on a whole new level of audacity.
Can't pay for it. I literally just explained to you my financial situation. I don't have extra money for anything, so I can't pay for this stuff. I wish I could, you see.
When it came to his turn to make donations, he straight up humiliated people who actually donated money. He called out those who did the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. In that challenge, a person had to either donate $100 or get a bucket of ice water dumped over them and then donate $10 instead. He ridiculed them by saying they were view whores and only wanted attention from the internet. He also claimed that he does take part in donations, but behind the camera. He doesn't do it for views, otherwise it is not genuine.
I am not going to be addressing these, oh, the hottest thing on the internet right now is to strip completely pour f***ing jello on your head and it raises awareness. Yeah, it raises awareness, all right. Or awareness that you're a f***ing view and you're trying to get popularity instead of just donating. This is what I don't get about these fads, right?
Meanwhile, Phil keeps doing whatever he can to keep his begging campaigns going, because that's now his main goal in life and his only source of income. Recently, he's been seen playing the new game Hollow Knight, Silksong, where he constantly gets frustrated and starts cursing whenever the game challenges him beyond his skill level.
Oh my god. What? A boss fight with no save point? Good is. Why is she fighting me? Oh, she's helping me? She's helping me.
Let's end this DSP saga right here. Really hope you enjoyed watching this detailed documentary on DSP's life. If you did like watching it, show us your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Who should be the next lolcow for our video? Share your thoughts in the comments below.